What's going on, everybody?
Welcome to the show.
We're gonna do a little bit differently. We're gonna have a little discussion about some changes that have occurred in our lives, and mainly stemming from mine. And give you a little update on things that are going on, and we're gonna have a little discussion about everything and our thoughts on it and all that good shit. So, cue the intro. All right, so
Welcome back to the show.
So recently, this year, that's been a hell of a year for me. So it started out the end of last year with my nephew passing. Then about a month later, my mom passed, and then I came home from work. I was working in Iraq as a contract air traffic controller at the State Department. And as soon as I get back, my boss hits me that my job's going away.
Really?
Didn't get fired, didn't get let go. I mean, it was the entire branch of who I worked for went away. So I worked under a program called INL. And it stood for I for international, N narcotics, A something. I think administering or something. No, INL. International narcotics something. I don't know. But that's not what we did for the State Department. We handled transportation. Right. So I was an air traffic controller. They had the air units, which had the helicopters, which moved and it was all over the world, not just Iraq. So thousands of people from this contract were let go. And it was all part of the cuts that happened with the State Department because of all the different programs that fell under different shit. Like you had USAID and had all those programs that were out under that. And the ones that were like supporting, drag shows in South America and all the other things, like I don't even remember them all. I mean, I might be able to put some up here on the screen that fell under USAID, but we didn't fall under USAID. We fell under narcotics enforcement, and that's not at all what we did. So they cut everybody. They cut the air traffic controllers from all around the world. They cut the pilots. They cut the mechanics. Everybody in the air, they cut. Thousands of people. Went from, I spent 15 years there. And all of a sudden I get back and I have a month that my job's gone. Mm-hmm. It was... you were there as soon as I found out. It was like a kick to the nuts.
You have been kicked in the testicles.
Well, yeah, it's one of the bad things. It's like you hate it for your bud because it's his job. It's how he's made a living for multiple years, and it just sucks that there's no warning and there's no what's next. You just kind of figure it out immediately. But it's hard to feel bad, because you feel bad for him, but at the same time, you agree with the cuts because of the way, the excessive spending that is going on in our government and in our country right now. And just on programs that are just nonsense and not necessary anymore and just don't make sense.
I would never say this in the 15 years I worked there. Maybe like once or twice to you I've said it. You said it way more than I had. But it was an unbelievable, ridiculous 15 years of... The hardest part was being away from my family.
Yeah.
The job was simple. The job was
that's
easy.
What you were getting paid for, was being gone for so long, all the time. That's what those... I almost did that right after, right in the beginning, after the Twin Towers and all that. I almost went to Iraq and drove truck. And the money was just insane.
Oh, man, outside the wire money?
And it's the danger... The elevated risk of danger depending on what, now some people that went over were in places that weren't that dangerous, and other people were in places where they actively got shot at, and there were IEDs and everything. I decided not to go. I do have friends that I drove with for the same company that did go. They made a ton of money, but they also sacrificed those years of their lives. They basically you might as well have been in a coma because it didn't exist. You get such little home time.
Yeah, and I mean,
that you just literally are a work machine.
And it was 15 years. In total, it was about 20. In total of my, from the time I got out of the Army and went over and was air traffic controller or contractor. But I was air traffic controller 95% of the time. But the taking care of everybody was, my primary thing, and making sure that everybody had the best start, the best thing, everything that they could need. Definitely wasn't as smart with savings and investing as I should have been. And the worst part was, this year was the year that everything fell into line, which we were going to move into the ability to be able to do all that. We were going to be able to put money away. We were going to both were looking into buying houses close together, and we were going to do all this stuff with all this money that we were going to line up this year, and we were going to jump into it next year. Everything was lined up, and then get hit with, no more job.
Yeah.
And it's
but if there's one takeaway, no matter what bad comes our way, we just find a way to have the fun, to do what we love to do, and the money will right itself. The boat will right itself, and everything will get back on track. It's just maybe it's
an adjustment,
just a few year delay and some stress added to it. So
for years and years, my mom would always tell me, "Hey, I want you to come home, quit your job, get a job at home." And I explained, I couldn't. I was taking care of everybody, and it was the only way that we could afford to even live the life we had at that point. I just can't go back and work 3 jobs to make just a portion of what I was making there. And then she dies, and she left me enough money to help us make it through until I can get something. It wasn't a huge amount of money. It wasn't like, it's not life-changing money, but it's enough to make it through. And I can't help but think, she's like, I told him I was going to get his ass home.
Yeah, I call it more life-stabilizing money, because if you hadn't had that money, you would have really went through some shit.
All of us would have. It would have been horrible.
I mean, you guys would have, I don't even know if you've been able to make your monthly bills.
No. And it's just, and helped everybody out to get stable enough to be able to move from there. And the worst part is, as contract world, you don't get severance. You don't get,
No.
You don't get anything like that. You don't get a retirement. You don't get any of that stuff. I worked 15 years there, and although I did get a certificate thanking me for my service, I did have a couple of flags flown, one over the embassy and one over the Marine compound.
It's great, because when I'm retired and I'm wondering where my next meal comes from, I can, hang one of my flags up or look at my plaque.
Yeah.
And that'll stave me through.
Oh, now, I had to pay for those,
I'm in the same kind of industry. It's sad where we're going as I'm sure there's some good in it and some bad in it. I try not to be a overly focus on the past kind of guy, even though nowadays it gets harder and harder not to appreciate some of the past. But it's an industry now that has no union. It has no there's no pensions and
there's no fail safe. There's no.
Now it's 401k, and we all know that's just you might as well just throw your money in it's a gamble.
I mean,
it's like going to Vegas, other than maybe a hair safer.
You're either gonna go get big, depending on the economy, and we all know since early 2020 the economy's been very shaky.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and you can do stocks and bonds, but then you're basically earning the same as a savings account.
Yeah.
So the best way to do it is to get a money manager, a money market fund, and get into something like that. But unless you have money, that's not going to help much. But It is hard. It's hard because it's like, well, first of all, the personal aspect. Not being able to help everybody, not making the money, you kind of feel like, you know, even though I wasn't fired, even though it wasn't my fault, even though I didn't do something to cause it, you still feel that ego. You know, like I've been an air traffic controller for 20 years.
So...
And now, like, I drive by an airport and I look at the control tower and I get kind of upset, you know. But at the same time, how can you be mad at them cutting when you knew your job was not really worth what you were getting paid?
I can't find the quite word of what you would call that. You know, I know it's out there and it's right there in the back of my head, but I can't kind of put it there. It's that job that, yes, did you work? Yes. Did you supply a service? Yes. And if they could get them in country, you know, if it was a place where they could just hire local and they could pay a normal yearly income, then it would be a nice service to have and definitely a benefit to the embassy. But because they paid everyone such an exorbitant amount of money, it just isn't worth what was being accomplished by doing it. It just made no sense. It actually does make more sense for them to transport them over to the airfield
on the ground. And I mean,
it is more dangerous, which was kind of the benefit of having that ability to land the helicopters there. But
my thing is, and this has been my issue, there's a lot of what's going on in the world in our country today that, you know, talking about the political aspect of it, there's a lot of stuff that the goal I agree with. You know, I agree that cuts need to happen, and I agree that spending, especially like international wasteful spending, and
well, for too long we've almost, it's almost like we've ignored what's being paid by just throwing the budget out there and going, doesn't matter what it goes to, there it is, there's the budget.
Just look away.
I mean,
and we're just wasting so many American dollars on stuff that is just completely unnecessary.
If we had this conversation 2 years ago, 3 years ago, everybody's in agreement. The government spends a lot of wasteful money. They spend it, like politicians are going to spend money that help them. Politicians are going to spend money to help themselves. Everybody was saying it. Everybody agreed. The government spent too much money. It was wasteful spending. There's always the jokes that the government's going to spend $15,000 on the toilet seat.
The government is a greedy piglet that suckles on a taxpayer's teat until they have sore, chapped nipples.
You know, you have all these jokes and all this talk about wasteful spending. Then when it starts getting cut, everybody gets mad. Everybody gets mad because of now they're actually looking into it and just trying to find what they can pick out of what's being cut to be mad about.
And then that shuts the government down, and you get all kinds of other problems.
So I mean, it's just like, you know, 2-3 years ago, everybody agreed that the government spent too much money on wasteful shit.
Yeah.
And I understand. So that getting to the cuts that were made. Look, I get the cuts need to be made. I think it was drastic, too quick, and too much of an axe rather than like a scalpel.
Yeah.
But
you
also understand why.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, you got 4 years to try to make a difference, and then it's up in the air on who's going to come in and how much they're going to F up in the future. And out of things that were done to progress us for a better, can actually be flipped around in a very short period of time, and we can be back where we were, paying $7 for a gallon of gas and wondering if there's any safety in the world, and how, you know, if we're going to get attacked, and all the other things that go along with that kind of stuff.
I mean, look, with all the stuff with the government cut down and shut down and everything that's going on, nobody's talking about the fact that we just got attacked like last week. The drug cartels were using drones to attack U.S. assets throughout the Gulf. They were attacking oil facilities along the Gulf Coast. They were attacking Navy ships. Well,
because unless you're into the media or into keeping up with all news, world news, and, you know, even American news, A lot of people they're just social media in this shit.
Yeah.
They don't really know what's going on. They don't really care. All they know is that their people isn't, the ones they want to rally around. It's not going the way they want it, and people are saying bad things. They don't look into even the validity of it, or even how it was said, or if it was actually said, or if it was true, or if it's being manipulated. They don't care, because somebody they align with says it, so they just regurgitate it, and we go on believing it, and instead of doing any kind of research or looking into it.
We've moved away from a pluralistic society where understand that there's more points of views and you can respect those points of views.
Well, we used to come from a generation who would get up and read the paper in the morning before work, or turn on the news channel and watch it on TV as we progress into the modern, but get actual news. Not that our news hasn't become kind of a joke anymore
on all
anyway.
sides.
But half the people out there don't even listen to the news or check in on the news. They literally get up, they social media stream. That's where they get their news, whether it's fake, false, AI, whatever. That's where they get it, and they guide their life according to it, without ever once going out and searching out what this story or what this person is even talking about.
And then on top of that, if they do watch the news, they're not talking about the news. They're not talking about, oh, this was on the 7 o'clock news. No, it's one of the talk shows on a news channel that's somebody's opinion.
Yeah.
And that's
it's getting, and I'll give everybody this. It is getting harder and harder to know when you're being lied to, where the truth lies. And it takes actual work to find those answers. And I'm talking finding answers on both sides and then marrying up what the truth is out of both sides. Because, you can take an argument between a man and a woman. Your buddy and his wife, and they have an argument and they both come to you. You're going to get two different sides. And you realize the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. Now, it may lean a little more to the right or a little more to the left, but it's somewhere in that middle. Yeah. Because it's always exaggerated on both sides.
There's an old saying: you have his side, her side, and the truth.
Yeah.
There's three sides to anything. And then what you were saying is what I used to do. I used to watch like Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, and I used to watch all three of them. There was another one I can't remember: CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and whatever. Whatever. But I would watch them. And you would take all the sides from the different ones, and you would formulate. Well, I did it online, but you would read a story about a topic, and then you'd read the three different angles, and then you'd have to put together the facts to try to figure out the whole thing.
Fact.
Yeah.
And you can't even do that now.
Now you just have to read it and study it, and then it almost comes down to like the best guess, unless you were there and know somebody who was physically there and saw it firsthand, that you could trust, because we're living in this very strange time of forced realities, just
fake realities, forced reality, forced opinion.
Just
somebody somewhere is deciding what is going to be the thing.
And I'm at that age that puts me in a hard bracket because, obviously by anybody younger than 30, I'm considered old and a relic and irrelevant.
And you are an old man and a fool!
But I also am at an age where I have seen pre-technology and pre-social media and social everything to post now where we have it and or current or however you want to say that. And there's part of me that loves it. I do it. I'm on this now.
We're here.
I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on all these platforms, and I enjoy them, and I do things on them. But I almost think we're better off if we didn't have them. I think that we live in a much tougher time and much more divide, between all classes, financial, religious, sexual orientation, just everything.
Everything around.
And I think it's made more relevant because of social media and the platforms that people get on, because unfortunately we don't live in a world where everybody wants to put out good vibes and happy thoughts and positive stuff and do fun stuff. It's just so much negativity.
Be nice.
And sometimes I think we'd be better off if it just we didn't have it.
You know what you were just saying. It reminds me of the story. You know, like it costs you nothing to be nice.
Yeah.
To be a good person, a nice person costs you nothing.
But we've all had friends.
But people turn around, and negative people will come around. Well, how much would it cost for me to be an asshole? It's like, you see, that's the fucking problem.
Well, that's the thing. We all have that friend. We all have at least one friend who loves to do that. He loves to go on and just start shit on social media, on a thread, and it's stuff that he didn't even care about. You know, go on a site about abortion or something. He's
a troll just doing something.
Just trolling it out. Just throwing out nasty comments to get everybody worked up. And then he moves on with the day, not giving a crap. And there's like a whole day of fighting on that one channel.
Yeah, I mean, like that alone goes to tell you the power of social media. Like, I can go on there and stir up trouble and go on with my day. It's going to fuck up somebody's whole week. Yeah. Somebody's whole week is going to be devoted to what I was doing.
And I usually find people that do that, I'm not friends with as long as I am other people. Like, they slowly, they weed out or weed themselves out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, yeah, the whole leading a life based on social media and shit that doesn't matter to people's lives. I mean, like, what somebody says, how does it affect you? You know, like, I've lost my damn job, lost my livelihood. Now I'm going back. By the way, now I am going back to school. I've been meaning to do it for a while. I've got some education, but I'm going back to school.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you're, like, you know, we talked about how you lost a job in the government, you know, and then we kind of got off on our own little tangent there for a minute. But yeah, where does that lead you for the future? Like, you know, with the school and... So
the first big thing is, the major concern was, if I worked by the time this year, it would affect my taxes in a severely negative way. Any income would have severely affected my taxes, because I fell under a category of like an expatriate living overseas. So the pay was from the State Department, but it was overseas pay. So if I started making domestic money, then the taxes would have been, it would have hurt a lot. So right now, the initial step was to get into school as soon as possible. I was looking around. I wrote several colleges and universities online. The first one that got back to me was
15 minutes later.
It's Grand Canyon University. I did not know it at the time, but it is a Catholic or a Christian school. And I didn't know it at the time. It doesn't bother me. Some of the stuff in one of the classes bothered me a lot. But, you know, I am a Christian, and I don't mind that angle on things, except when they twist history, which, if they try to do that, I'm going to have a lot of...
You done messed up, Aaron!
Conflict, I believe. But
you just keep your mouth shut, pass your grades, and move on in life.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the way it's going to have to happen.
It is, because your personal opinion doesn't matter. What matters is getting a degree to further your job in your life in the positive way. If you got to, you know, suck it up for a little bit, that's just life, man.
Yeah.
Rub some dirt on it.
It's true, because it's what I did with the one class. But I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a high school history teacher, hopefully coach some baseball. And that is the main goal with my education. But coming up here, we're towards the end of the year, 2025, I'm going to start looking for a job to carry out in the meantime. And, you know, I'm the type of person who, I'm not too good for any job. I'm going to be applying for everywhere, and whichever one gets back to me first, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take a job. I'm going to start working, start making money, start working an actual real job, you know, something that...
So if you could be here around 9, that would be great.
Is realistic versus what I was doing there. From there, I'm still going to apply. I'm still going to move. I'm going to try to progress. Once I have a job, I'm going to try to figure out how I can move up, how I can change, you know, what I can do to make more money and be more effective for me in the long run. We've talked about possibly getting back into security and working at the power plant. Talked about some of the casino stuff. I'm not too good to work anywhere. You know, I'm gonna, whatever I can get, I'm gonna do and start moving up. Hell, I mean, I even said, if I worked as a cart guy at Walmart, at least I'll get my steps in for, you know, losing weight for your wedding. You know, I'm not too good for anything. So that's the plan right now, and you know, I'm a couple courses into my degree plan now. I've got a bunch of credits I transferred over, so now it's just a matter of doing the work. You know, there's a guy I listen to a podcast. He's a bodybuilder, Seth Feroce, and he's got this thing that he says where it says, "You don't have problems, you just have more work to do." And I've been listening to it a lot lately, and he's right. You know, I mean, like, when it comes to problems, it's like none of us are dying, none of us are sick, none of us don't have the ability to do things. We just have to work through it. And it's definitely, that thought process has definitely helped me get my mind into it. You know, like, I came back, yeah, this year sucked. I let myself physically get way overboard. Gained a bunch of weight, stopped working out, was unhealthy.
That happened to me too.
Yeah. So now...
Just stress. A couple of months, you gained a bunch of weight.
Gained a lot of weight. I mean, I went from last year deadlifting over 400 pounds, benching over 300 pounds, squatting over 400 pounds, to not even understanding what those numbers are right now. Just a year ago. So... that's something else we've been doing. We've been hitting the gym 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Starting to see some changes. I'm wearing pants that were too big or too tight a couple weeks ago.
I can get off the couch now, so. And out of bed.
You've always been able to get off the couch.
Yeah.
You act like you're, you know, the 800-pound man.
No, it's more of an age thing.
I'm too old for this shit.
Mobility and age.
You are old.
Gotta keep moving as you get old. A wise old lady once told me, well, she didn't tell me, but she passed it along to me, to eat healthy and to move. That lady's 100 years old, so, or 99 years old, so I'm gonna take her word for it, because I'm planning on living to be 300, so.
I wouldn't mind being a vampire.
No, I'm just talking about living.
Yeah.
Somebody in the Bible did it, so I think I can do it.
Yeah, well, that's true. A couple people did.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, like, so that's pretty much the update on where we are. You know, we went from me being home 3 times a year for, you know, a month at a time to being back full time. No job, no money. Trying to figure shit out.
Yeah.
It's
And I thought we'd ride more, but we don't ride as much as I thought when you came back.
So first of all,
I guess you just didn't like riding as much as.
First of all, when I came back, and I've been home in the summertime,
we
but
should just go ride sometime, bro.
yeah, I'm
Some rides. You know?
Okay. He's also leaving out the fact that I was in a motorcycle accident, and my motorcycle was gone for over a month. So. Yeah, he's leaving
And the
that
fact
part
that
out.
we're just coming out of the most brutal season to ride, which is summer in Florida.
It's so miserable.
A couple hours, you're just done because you're sweating and you're burning, and it's just done.
We were supposed to go for a ride last week, and neither of us, I think,
It's
were
still
into
the
it.
most wonderful state to live in for riding, weather-wise, because you can ride all year. Even in the summer when it's hot, you can still ride.
You could still ride. The only thing that I was cognizant of, I mean, it's Florida. You're going to get a thunderstorm just about every day.
I ride in the rain.
Not
if I don't
every
have
day.
Well, if it rained every day, I would. I don't have to sometimes because I'll borrow someone's car if it's available. But if it's not available, I'm rain suiting up and riding because that's what I do.
And I'll get there. The accident I had shook me up a little bit, and getting the bike back after a month. You know, driving a car didn't affect me at all, but being on the bike the first couple rides, it was my nerves were up there. My nerves were so bad, my Fitbit said it was a workout. So, yeah, getting back into that. We're gonna get some more ride videos coming up because we're getting in the cooler season. Start doing our Sunday rides every week, even if we don't go anywhere.
And it's gonna be interesting because not only we're gonna go back to doing Sunday rides and restaurant reviews, which I don't know if you've watched, but if you have, hopefully you like them. We really enjoy them. Locally, we'll go to a ride and then we'll go to a restaurant and we'll do it. But now we're gonna be doing it on food and calorie and intake restrictions. Yep. So it'll be really interesting to see when we go to a new place to check it out what we can do to manipulate the menu to work in the favor of someone who is being, carb or fat or
we're gonna
conscious.
It's gonna be interesting because there's a couple things we had started planning ahead of time that now we got to see if we're gonna be able to fit them in, like the onion ring challenge.
Yeah, that's off the table.
So, that's...
For now, because I can't eat onion rings, but...
So, like, we're going to have to... Instead, we're going to have to look for, healthier options.
From Thanksgiving to Christmas, we got a small window. We can stick the onion ring somewhere in there.
That sounds
have to get on top of our research if we're going to do that.
Yeah. And, so we've got stuff going on. We've got plans. We're just going to be trying some new things, working some things out. Maybe we're going to be bringing you along with some of our daily stuff, our daily workout. Maybe not too much of it, depending on when and who's in the gym. I don't mind being on camera.
Well, that, and I don't think, that anybody, we're not a fitness channel. We don't need an hour-long video.
No. Absolutely not.
That's just too much.
No, it's more just like a day in the life of, this is what we do on this day. Well, we can film ourselves. You can film me through school and dealing with the kids.
Yeah, we'll do a show at some point when we get to a certain point. We'll do a show of where we started from and where we're at and what it took to get through that journey.
But yeah, there's the update. Lost my job. I'm home for good. I'm gonna be a teacher.
Loser.
Yeah. About a month ago, that would have hurt.
Fucking loser.
You know what's gonna be on your tombstone? Loser.
A month ago, that would have hurt because every time we have a conversation, we'll have a conversation and somebody says like, oh, his wife is supporting him, or he doesn't have a job, or he does this,
Don't be so hard on yourself, big fella. You cook dinner for her every night.
Oh, every night. You're damn right.
Keep the house clean.
Hell yeah, I take care of her. She's the breadwinner now.
Well, there you go.
I am the basic bitch in many ways.
No, it's just a stepping stone. He's actually in school. We're out working at the gym, where he's working around the house. They're
taking care of the kids,
doing some changing,
just
of everything.
Really bringing back into a family thing. The next step is not just cooking dinner, but family dinners.
Yeah, good luck with that. We've tried that. I've tried that off and on my entire life. Family dinners never work for me. Maybe it's the heathens that I've raised and that I live with, but family dinners was never a thing. Nobody wants to. Once you get past the age of like 10, none of them want to come together and eat dinner at the same time. And if they do, they're miserable or they're smart asses or whatever. It's always a disaster.
It is difficult.
I learned that you're better off just cooking the meal and come get it when you need it.
There's one day a week that we sort of kind of do it now, which is Wednesdays.
Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
It's because there's no dance, there's no activities, there's nothing going on Wednesdays. So sometimes we'll have dinner and watch movies together.
You know how I figured out how you have family dinner? You call it Takeout Friday, and you order from a restaurant, and every one of them line up because that's free food from someplace they might like. So they're more apt to come, and then they will feel more guilty to not leave the room while they're eating it.
See,
on a regular dinner night, they come out to the kitchen, they load their plates, and they disappear.
It would be a lot easier to do that if I still had a job.
Well, we don't do it because it's just ridiculously expensive anymore.
But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. If you got any questions about things, throw it on there. We would like to do a Q&A with questions from you guys. So fill up the comments and
smash that bell.
And we'll be back with some more thoughts for you. Till then, peace out, everybody. Love you guys. all that good shit. So, cue the intro. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, don't.